I'm a diabetic and concerned about rice, potatoes, and grains spiking my blood sugar. Is there a diabetes-friendly version of the Mediterranean diet?
Great question. So first of all, if you have diabetes, we definitely recommend working with a registered dietitian in your area who's also a certified diabetes educator. If the Mediterranean diet is a big departure from how you normally eat, then we also recommend, talking with your doctor and dietitian, letting them know you're going to be making these changes, and perhaps also keeping a food diary for a few days so that you and your care team can monitor, how your blood sugar is doing, if there's certain trigger foods for you, and just to make sure that your medications are still at the right levels, even if your diet might be changing. In terms of the Mediterranean diet itself, U.S. News and World Report actually this year ranked the Mediterranean diet as the #1 best diet for diabetes, and the Mediterranean diet is also recommended by the VA as part of the care for diabetes. In terms of how your blood sugar is impacted by different carbohydrate foods, it can be impacted differently depending on if you eat the food by itself or if you eat it with something else. So for example, if you have a potato and you eat it with olive oil, for example, as is done in the Mediterranean diet, or with an acid like lemon juice, which is another common Mediterranean ingredient, then that pairing can actually help reduce the glycemic response, meaning that the potato will have a more gentle impact on your blood sugar as opposed to if it were just eaten alone. Some other tips when choosing carbohydrate foods on a Mediterranean diet, and especially if you have diabetes, are to seek out foods in their minimally processed form. So for example, choosing whole grains and whole grains that are intact grains and less processed versus refined grain foods that can sometimes spike your blood sugar a little more. And then another fun fact that not a lot of people realize is that pasta, which is a staple food of the Mediterranean diet in Italy, actually has a low glycemic index. And this is because when the pasta dough is extruded through the dies to make the shapes, it actually compacts the starch structure so that it digests more slowly. And this means that it will have a gentler blood sugar response. So I think, in general, pairing a carbohydrate food, choosing a higher fiber carbohydrate food like a whole grain, pairing that with a fat or an acid is always a good idea. Pairing it with a fat or a protein rather than just having it on its own in order to help have the best response for your blood sugar. And then lastly, I did want to point out too that batch cooking can be helpful. So for example, if you cook rice or potatoes and eat them right away while they're warm, they'll have one impact on your blood sugar. But if you cook the rice or potatoes, let them chill for at least 24 hours, and then you can reheat them or enjoy them chilled in like a pasta salad or a potato salad. That will actually have a lower blood sugar response than if you would have eaten it when it was first cooked. So in this way, it can kind of save you time and also could potentially help out with your blood sugar response.